Hello and welcome to the 5th video now of me forcing people to fight to the death. People and also peninsulas. Anyways, if you did not watch the last video, then you should go watch because it was, in my opinion, the best one so far. And also it's the best thumbnail so far in my opinion. Anyways though, Me6 and Poos Pug 1. So, our new contestants are the yellow guy and Julius. Anyways, everyone else has been here before, so they don't get an introduction. Go watch previous videos to see their introduction. Anyways, proceed. Oh, I always forget to say this. Place your bets in Glug and Iberia threaten a double suicide if fails, and they die. Why? Okay, place your bets in the comments down below. Do not bet on Glug or Iberia, because they're dead. Anyways, my bet is on Alex Brightman. Colt lifts a mace out of Cake Knight's hands. I already talked about Glug and Iberia threatening a double suicide, and it fails and they die. Sweetly runs away from the cornucopia. Boob runs away from the cornucopia. Winter runs away from the cornucopia. Doc clutches first aid kit and runs away. Leia runs away from the cornucopia. Same thing with Styx, and Alex Brightman, and Tom, and Axo grabs a shovel, and Michael finds a backpack full of camping equipment. Eco pushes Jacob off a cliff during a knife fight. Harry stabs Extor with a tree branch. Yellow Guy and Saint fight for a bag. Yellow Guy gives up and retreats. Fridge runs away from the cornucopia. Z3 grabs a shovel. Julius runs away from the cornucopia. Nero runs away from the cornucopia. Anyways, proceed. Cake Knight attacks Nero, but he manages to escape. Michael questions his sanity. Tom searches for firewood. Alex Brightman receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Doc springs his ankle while running away from Harry. Styx sees smoke rising in the distance, but decides not to investigate. Julius steals from Sweetly while she isn't looking. Axo diverts Leia's attention and runs away. Yellow Guy overhears Boob and Chico talking in the distance. Z3 receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Colt questions his sanity. Fridge tends to Saint's wounds. And Winter discovers a liver. 4 cannon shots, Glug, Iberia, Jacob, and Extor, so if you bet on any of them, then you lose all your money. Colt receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Chico destroys Leia's supplies while she is asleep. Axo tends to Cake Knight's wounds. Julius tends to his wounds. Nero tends to his wounds. Sweetly receives fresh water from an unknown sponsor. Boob tries to ink himself to sleep. Michael attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Yellow Guy loses sight of where he is. Fridge receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Saint fends Alex Brightman, Harry, and Z3 away from his fire. Styx, Winter, and Doc tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Z3 questions her sanity. Tom tries to eat a fish with a trident. Cake Knight's X for hours. Yellow Guy thinks about home. Boob strangles Chico after engaging in a fist fight. Alex Brightman stabs Winter with a tree branch. Fridge injures himself. Nero makes a slingshot. Colt receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Julius receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Saint questions his sanity. Michael is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Doc questions his sanity. Harry questions his sanity. Sweetly stabs Axo. Leia collects fruit from a tree. Styx makes a wooden sphere. 2 cannon shots, Chico and Winter. So, wait. Go back, I could have sworn someone else died. Oh, that's a stalks. I said stabs. Sweetly stalks Axo, not stabs. Anyways, Neo receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Yellow Guy destroys Boob's supplies while he is asleep. Leia and Tom tell stories about themselves to each other. Cake Knight and Michael threaten a double suicide. It fails, and they die. Colt receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Harry, Saint, Julius, and Z3 tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Alex Brightman overpowers Fridge, killing him. I still hope you win, Alex Brightman. Axo, Sweetly, Styx, and Doc sleep in shifts. Okay, now someone is actually stabbing someone because Doc stabs Colt while his back is turned. Axel receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Saint receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Tom receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Alex Brightman receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Harry scares Nero off. Sweetly runs away from Boob. Sticks springs his ankle while running away from Yellow Guy. Julius fishes. Leia attacks Z3, but she manages to escape. 4 more cannon shots. If you bet on Cake Knights, Michael, me, or Colt, you have lost. Sweetly sees a fire but stays hidden. Doc tries to treat his infections. Z3 begs for Harry to kill her. He refuses, keeping Z3 alive. Nero tries to sink himself to sleep. Julius thinks about home. Tom thinks about winning. Boo passes out from exhaustion. Saint begs for Yellow Guy to kill him. He refuses, keeping Saint alive. Alex, Brightman, and Leia run into each other and decide to choose for the night. Styx thinks about winning. Axel sees a fire but stays hidden. Day 4. Yellow Guy collects fruit from a tree. Saint poisons Sweetly's drink. She drinks it and dies. Tom and Z3 split up to search for resources. Leia questions her sanity. Harry and Julius split up to search for resources. Doc receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Boob, Styx, Axel, and Neo raid Alex Brightman's camp while he is hunting. These 4 are going to die because of that. Anyway, Sweetly is dead, so if you bet on her, then you lose. Night 4, Boob looks at the night sky. Styx tends to Yellow Guy's wounds. Tom, Axel, and Harry sleep in shifts. Z3 falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Saint attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Doc and Julius huddle for warmth. Leia receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Neo tries to sing himself to sleep. Alex Brightman looks at the night sky. Day 5. Alex Brightman runs away from Tom. Neo hunts for other tributes. Leia, Julius, Boob, and Axel hunt for other tributes. Saint tries to spear fish with her trident. Styx discovers a river. Doc discovers a cave. Yellow Guy travels to high ground, and Harry makes a wooden spear. Z3 is dead, so if you bet on her, then you lose every last dollar you own. Anyways, Doc, Axel, Leia, Styx, Nero, Tom, Alex Brightman, Harry, Boob, Yellow Guy, and Julius and Saint are all alive, so if you bet on them, then you still have a chance to not lose all your money. Anyways, Leia goes to sleep. Styx tends to Nero's wounds. Saint fends Doc, Harry, and Yellow Guy away from his fire. Axel thinks about winning. Boob loses sight of where he is. Alex Brightman is awoken by a nightmare. Tom defeats Julius in a fight but spares his life. Day 6. Axel goes hunting. Tom tries to sleep through the entire day. Alex Brightman discovers a cave. Boob stalks Nero. Leia, Doc, and Styx track down and kill Julius. Harry scares Yellow Guy off, and Saint receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Julius is dead, so if you bet on him, then you lose everything you own. Boob dies from hypothermia, so if you bet on Boob, then you also lose everything you own. Saint stays awake all night. Leia loses sight of where she is. Alex Brightman and Yellow Guy hold hands. Tom begs for Doc to kill him. He refuses, keeping Tom alive. You should have killed him after what he did to the house on that one Minecraft server. Axel unknowingly eats toxic berries. Harry and Neo run into each other and decide to choose for the night. Styx receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. The feast. Harry decides not to go to the feast. Tom sets explosive off, killing Yellow Guy, Alex Brightman, Neo, and Doc. Doc, you should have killed Tom. Then you, Nero, Alex Brightman, and the Yellow Guy would also be alive. Styx decides not to go to the feast. Leia decides not to go to the feast. And Saint decides not to go to the feast. Day 7. Saint and Styx hunt for other tributes. Leia hunts for other tributes. Harry explores the arena. Tom travels to higher ground. Anyways, Boob, Axel, Yellow Guy, Alex Brightman, Neo, and Doc are dead, so if you bet on any of them, you lose everything you own. Including not just all the money you own, but also your house, your car, your food, your oxygen. You don't get to breathe anymore. You lose all of the oxygen you owned. Anyways, night 7. Leia and Styx tell stories about themselves to each other. Harry receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Tom receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor and Saint answers wounds. Day 8. Tom and Harry hunt for the tributes. Sticks overhears Saint and Leia talking in the distance. No one died. Saint passes out from exhaustion. Harry and Leia talk about the tributes still alive. Tom convinces Sticks to snuggle with him. Day 9. Harry and Leia work together for the day. Saint receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor, and Tom tracks down and kills Sticks. Tom is vicious. He has 5 kills. These 3 need to team up and kill him. Anyways, Saint severely injures Harry and leaves him to die, and Leia trap kills Tom, so it's Saint and Leia left who will win. Saint sets Leia on fire with a Molotov, means Saint has won. So if you bet on Saint, then you get everyone's life savings, everyone's house, everyone's oxygen, because you cannot breathe anymore. I cannot breathe anymore because I bet on Alex Brightman, who only got 8th. But I'm a fridge, so I don't need to breathe. Anyways. We always do 2, so time for the second one. Bet on who you think is going to win the second one. I'm still betting on Alex Brightman. Proceed. Anyways, the horn sounds, and Joyous finds a canteen full of water. Sweetly runs away from the cornucopia. Jacob snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Glug runs away from the cornucopia. Fridge and Iberia fight for a bag. Fridge gives up and retreats. I gave up when fighting a peninsula. Cake Knights and Alex Brightman fight for a bag. Alex Brightman gives up and retreats. C3 rips a mace out of Nero's hands. Michael, Yellow Guy, and Harry work together to grab as much supplies as possible. Sticks takes a sickle from inside the cornucopia. Doc runs away from the cornucopia. Chico runs away from the cornucopia. Tom and Axel fight for a bag. Tom gives up and retreats. Axel runs away from the cornucopia. Leia runs away from the cornucopia. Colt grabs a jar of fishing bait while Boob grabs fishing gear. Winter runs away from the cornucopia, and Saint runs away from the cornucopia. Day 1. These 4 hunt for the tributes. Thomas travels to higher ground. Saint discovers a river. Jacob hunts for other tributes. Cake Knight is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Nero explores the arena. Boob tries to spear fish with a trident. Alex Brightman sees smoke eyes in the distance but decides not to investigate. Fridge searches for a water source. Joyous runs away from Extor. Yellow Guy hunts for the tributes. Axel fishes. Sweetly and Z3 split up to search for resources. Michael travels to higher ground. Colt dies trying to escape the arena. Iberia defeats Chico in a fight but spares her life. Leia searches for firewood, and Winter hunts for the tributes. Colt is dead, so if you bet on him, then, if you won the last bet, then you lose everything you just won. If you lost the last bet, then you don't have anything to lose, so. Extor is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Boob and Neo huddle for warmth. Axo stabs Fridge with a tree branch. Is this what I get for putting the Yellow Guy in here? Is that why you killed me? Leia tries to treat her infection. Sticks tries to sing himself to sleep. Chico, Doc, and Joyous sleep in shifts. Michael receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Jacob thinks about winning. Saint receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Winter receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Tom, Sweetly, and Z3 get into a fight. Tom triumphantly kills them both. Tom is still vicious in this one. Iberia and Alex Brightman huddle for warmth. Cake Knights and Harry sleep in shifts. Yellow Guy and Glug sleep in shifts. Day 2. Boob, Saint, Cake Knights, and Sticks hunt for other tributes. Doc repeatedly stabs Axo to death with a says. I don't know how you pronounce that. I've been able to pronounce that every time it's shown up until now. Exo sees fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Chico overhears Glug and Harry talk in the distance. Neo, Winter, Michael, and Alex Brightman raid Yellow Guy's camp while he is hunting. Julius receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Leia, Iberia, and Tom get into a fight. Iberia triumphantly kills them both, so Tom is dead now, and Leia. Iberia killed Tom, who I thought was going to get the most kills again. Jacob discovers a cave, and also Iberia killed Leia, who killed Tom in the last one, so... Anyway, 6 cannon shots, including me. Proceed, though. Glug and Iberia fight, and Joyous, Glug and Iberia survive. Doc looks at the night sky. Boob fends Harry, Chico, and Neo away from his fire. Jacob loses sight of where he is. Sticks attempts to climb a tree but falls to his death. Winter sets the explosive off, killing Cake Knight's and Alex Brightman. Why can Alex Brightman not win? I want him to win. Whoever kills Winter is who I want to win now. Michael is awoken by a nightmare. Extor stabs Yellow Guy while his back is turned. Day 3, Jacob tries to spearfish with a trident. Harry receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Glug, Chico, Winter, and Extor hunt for the tributes. Doc, Boob, and Iberia hunt for the tributes. Neo tries to spearfish with a trident. Michael questions his sanity. These two groups run into each other and fight. Just kidding, that never happened. Maybe it'll happen next, though. Anyways, Alex Brightman is dead. Also, the Yellow Guy died, who is my second favorite person here after Alex Brightman. Neo destroys Doc's supplies while he is asleep. Glug, Harry, Jacob, and Boob tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Chico and Michael talk about the tributes still alive. Iberia screams for help. Extor begs Winter to kill him. She refuses, keeping Extor alive. Extor and Doc work together for the day. Glug discovers a cave. Chico practices her archery. Iberia searches for firewood. Michael hunts for other tributes. Boob, Jacob, and Winter hunt for the tributes. Harry constructs a shack. Neo travels to higher ground. No cannon shots can be heard. Boob sets up camp for the night. Doc and Michael talk about the tributes still alive. Iberia begs for Winter to kill her. She refuses, keeping Iberia alive. Why is everyone begging for Winter to kill them? First, who was the other person? Anyways, someone did it, and now Iberia is doing it. Jacob attempts to start a fire, but is unsuccessful. Neo questions his sanity. Extor and Glug hold hands. Chico stabs Harry with a tree branch. Day 5. These 4 hunt for other tributes. Michael practices archery. Iberia severely injures Boob, but puts him out of his misery. Glug diverts Chico's attention and runs away. Winter dies of dysentery. I want dysentery to win now, because I said whoever kills Winter, I want to win. Anyways, Harry, Boob, and Winter are dead. Doc, Nero, Jacob, Glug, Iberia, Michael, Extor, and Chico are still left, so if you bet on any of them, you still have a chance. Anyways, these 5 sleep in shifts. I'm surprised Michael didn't kill everyone else. Glug and Jacob huddle for warmth, and Extor cooks his food before putting his fire out. The feast. Chico attacks Michael, but Doc protects him, killing Chico. Jacob shoots a poisonous blow dart into Neo's neck, slowly killing him. Glug decides not to go to the feast, and Iberia steals Extor's memories. Glug tries to sleep through the entire day. Extor severely injures Jacob, but leaves him to die. Iberia bleeds out due to untreated... Wait, go back to the feast. Okay, never mind. Iberia bleeds out due to untreated injury. Michael discovers a cave, and Doc receives a hatch from an unknown sponsor. These 4 are now dead. Doc dies from an infection. Extor destroys Michael's supplies while he is asleep. Glug is awoken by a nightmare, so Extor, Michael, and Glug are left. Who will win? Michael receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Extor defeats Glug in a fight but spares his life. This next proceed could be the last one. Glug and Extor huddle for warmth. Michael tries to treat his infection. This proceed could be the last one. It's not, because Glug searches for a water source, Extor travels high ground, and Michael sees medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. No one died. This proceed is probably the last one. Glug kills Michael with a sickle, and Extor dies from an infection, making Glug the winner. I call it winning. It rhymes with Glug. Glug also got 3 kills. Michael's going to be so bad he got 3rd. Anyways. Who got the most kills this time? Iberia got the most kills. A peninsula killed 5 people. It's not the people on the Iberian Peninsula. No, it's the peninsula itself, by the way. Never go to the Iberian Peninsula, I guess, because it is murdering everyone. Anyways, thank you for watching. Good job to Glug and Saint for winning. And I will see you in the next one where we have another 2 new tributes. I actually don't know who it's going to be yet. So, maybe leave some suggestions in the comments. Anyways, goodbye.